Welcome to the final episode of Series 81, everyone. This month we covered Shadowdark with designer Kelsey Dionne. This episode we are finishing our discussion and we get to some great fanfic. But before we get to all of that, we do have some calls to action coming up after the show. Here's what to expect. Join us here after the show where we will be telling you about Kelsey's latest Kickstarter, a setting supplement for Shadowdark that is over 19,000% funded, which is quite a feat. We will also have our normal Patreon information as well as our patron thank yous. With all of that out of the way, enjoy the show, everyone. On the last episode of Character Creation Cast, we learned a bit more about Kelsey's origin story in the RPG world and started analyzing Shadowdark together. We're picking up right where we left off last time. Enjoy.
No, but I think the game is very honest and upfront too, like in character creation, that like, okay, stuff is hard in this game. Like, you know, your level 1 characters are, you know, which I always appreciate in games when they're like, things are you're kind of squishy, you know, just so you know.
You've got something you have to strive for right out the gate, which is survival.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Because it clues you in that like, okay, it's going to be a big deal if we do make it. And, you know, also don't get too attached because.
Indeed. Yeah. Those first couple levels are pretty harrowing. And I love the idea in game design of write the blog posts that you would have had someone write explaining your game design decisions just write those into the book. Cause like how many articles have we read, or at least I've certainly read online that's like explaining the secret math behind 5e monster design. And I'm like, well, this could have just been in the book and then someone wouldn't have had to reverse engineer this just to make a monster accurate to the rules. So that was very present in my mind when I was writing this game. Like I'm going to preempt the internet and just put this in the book itself to explain how to engage with these rules.
Yeah, which I feel like helps me as a player because like I am not a GM. I don't like to run games. I've done it like once and it's not my thing. But it helps me as a player to be like, oh, okay, this is what you want me to do with this.
Oh yeah,
like this is what I'm supposed. You know, so like I know going into it, like okay, I'm going to make a character this way because this is how I'm meant to interact with things too. Like those rules are important as a player too to know. Like this is. You know, what I'm going to be doing, the choices I'm going to make are going to impact things in this way. Yeah. All of that kind of stuff.
So true. So true.
Kind of feels like we've been answering the next question as we've been going.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So our question is, how does the process of character creation reinforce the feeling of play? Which is, you know, really like, by creating characters, what have we learned about what our experience will be if we sit down to play this game? Because I think there are, you know, like I was explaining, there are some games where you make a character and like that's its own thing. And then you sit down to play the game and it has like nothing to do with what you just did in that experience. Like it doesn't, you know, nothing.
Right. This is so, well here, so like I guess I could pose this as questions to you both since you just made characters for the first time. Did you struggle to have enough space to carry the things you wanted to carry?
I did not. I struggled to have enough money to get the things that I might want.
Oh, you did?
That's true. You rolled pretty low on your money. I did have one little struggle of, do I buy a weapon or do I have rations in my inventory?
Oh, I didn't end up with any rations.
Oh, yeah. So you both answered like the first two questions I was going to ask, which was either I had to make a decision about what inventory to carry just as a part of my character creation process. And I didn't have enough resources to get all the gear that I wanted. So your character you're already getting coached about how the game works just with that decision-making process. Your inventory space is precious. You're going to have to dump some of it to carry treasure, but man, do you need that treasure because you need to buy yourself some better gear so you can survive. So those are two major driving gameplay elements in the game. And so it took some finesse to get the character creation process to sort of subconsciously reveal that information.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, that's so
I imagine
nice
it takes a lot of trial and error too to figure out like how much can I give people
That's
in
really
character
all.
creation before we get to
it's just
like
trial
how many
and error.
gold pieces can I give people before it's like useless and everybody can get whatever.
Exactly.
And then you dangle the adventuring craft kit that has like 7 slots worth of stuff in it. And you're like, it's only 7 gold. What could go wrong?
I know.
And now your slots are all full and you can't fit a club in your backpack.
That's it. That's
really tough.
So
it's really, you could only get one of the 2 shields that you wanted.
I had to carry your rations.
So fair. If I didn't have 2 shields, I could have held my club.
You could have gotten rations and then eaten them, and then you would have had an inventory slot.
Okay. It is on me for wanting a 2 shield priest.
Oh my gosh. And it's Ryan, I have to tell you something so funny too. Like the Shadowdark game master that lives in my body, the soul of me was so delighted when you were trying to decide what to put in your inventory and you're like, oh, I don't need a torch, I'll just throw it out. And I was like, yes, throw your torch out. Definitely do that. That's like the number one thing that after a few sessions of Shadowdark, everybody's like, never drop your torches. Anything but the torches, So
yeah. I definitely had a minute of like, okay, like how many crossbow bolts do I really need?
Yeah.
I just got like one little set. I got like the 20 that you start and
That's good for
That's
now.
enough at first level. That's
I
enough.
can pull them out of the dead bodies.
I've
later.
got iron spikes in a pinch.
Right. I've got a javelin if it gets really hairy.
Yeah,
right?
Those are reusable.
Oh, exactly.
As long as you don't throw them too far.
I know. So I really love that question, you guys, about how does the character creation process teach you about the game? I hope that it does, Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it definitely did. I think I learned a lot about my character just from the stats.
So much.
Yeah.
All my weaknesses.
I just realized one of my spells, if I can cast it, gets me to AC of 17.
Ooh.
Yes.
Which I'm going to be unstoppable at that point, it feels like.
That's quite tanky. I'm just ashamed that you have like -3 on your spell casting checks. You have to hit an 11 total, so your chances are somewhat low.
Oh, no. I did it to myself, and that's fine.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, funny. So funny.
Perfection, honestly.
Uh-huh.
I love everything about it.
Absolutely. Okay. So one of the questions that I love to ask game designers that come on the show is, in your opinion, what is one of the biggest flaws of character creation in Shadowdark? And what is your favorite part of character creation in this system?
Yes, it's so funny because we did, this is something I hinted at earlier. I do think that rolling 3d6 down the line is a flaw. It's a flaw because if we were to go back and try to design a stat generation process that drew from modern game design, it would not be that. So it's deeply unbalanced, unpredictable, and generally leads to your character having a lot of flaws, And so that was one of the first decisions I made in the game was we have to stick with this process because it's so integral to the D&D experience, the old school D&D experience, that I couldn't imagine not having it despite its flaws. And then it's like, well, then how can we build the game around it to accommodate?
How can I still make
results?
it playable knowing
this is terrible? We know that they're going to have bad stats. We know we're going to be using assigned modifiers. We have to make the game make stats able to be improved incrementally in a way that will matter. So that automatically defined some of the character progression things that we I don't know why I say we, because this was me sitting in my room just typing for 3 years, but it's
the royal we at that point.
I guess, yeah. I bounced a lot of these ideas off of play testers and people. So they're really the game was designed by the collective we. And so that was a big thing. The 3d6 stats are, I believe, its primary weakness. And I think the thing I most like, though, about character creation is I love how the confluence of just 3 simple things very strongly defines your character, which is your ancestry, your class, and your background. Those are sort of very mix and matchable things that tell you a great deal about who you are as a character. And man, you could just generate character ideas just rolling that set of 3 things randomly over and over again and just seeing like, oh, I got a former minstrel who is now a fighter that specializes in whips. Okay. You know, like, you know, something like that. Although whips are,
I don't know.
Yeah. They're not in the core rules, but whips are, you know, like whatever it may be. So, I just love how powerful those 3 elements are to telling you who your character is.
Yeah. Yeah. You end up with a lot out of so little, you know, especially when you're talking about like we rolled them randomly in our case. So like it's, you know, to end up with all of this out of like, let's roll some dice.
Yes.
I don't know. I was thinking about it and I was like, how much more stable is like, you know, 46 dropped the lowest. And then I was like, I don't know. I rolled all of my stats twice and I'm not sure that dropping the lowest would have really helped me much because it would have been a 1. I rolled a 1 every single time I rolled. Like
it's the buddy system though. See, the more dice you have per roll, the buddy system ensures that one of them is going to roll better.
I don't know. I'm not convinced it would have helped me this time.
It might have helped.
Maybe.
It might have helped.
Maybe.
I do like the reroll if everything's under 14 though, because Lord.
Yeah, I need
it. It happens. Yes.
The amount of characters I have made in the past that have been like, these stats are abhorrent, but this is what I get. So
yeah, and you don't want a character to be so bad that the player's first thought is like, well, better figure out how to end this guy's life.
Yeah, I better go ahead and make another one just in case.
I'm gonna just run into the goblins and then, you know, new character time. Like that's, you don't want, you don't, it's a fine balance between I'm so bad that I just can't even be played versus like I'm slightly bad, but in a charming way, you know? So
yeah.
I get up from the warmth of the campfire and walk off into the darkness without a torch.
Exactly. Very risky.
And I got 2 shields and no rations. Here we go.
Yes.
I do think it's fascinating to really start with that concept of like, okay, I'm going to start with creating stats in a way that 40 years of game design have informed us are really bad, and I'm going to build my game around that. Yes. Like that is a bold move.
It felt like trying to, you know, it felt like trying to
moment
drive
in your life.
Right. It was riding a tricycle to the store. Like I could do this. It's not the best way to shop for groceries, but I could do this.
It's like threading the needle, but throwing the thread as a dart.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. That's
like technically I can do this. Should I? No. Everyone would say no.
Only a fool would try it. Yeah. I know.
But I'm going to do it and I'm going to win awards for it.
Oh, that was the vindication for all of that madness. Yeah.
Yes. Everyone who said I shouldn't, take that.
Take that. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh gosh. We are now at my favorite part of the podcast.
Oh.
We call this our fan fiction section because we don't play our characters. But we love to talk about what we think would happen if we tried to play a game.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I love to talk about like why this group of people, like how did we end up here? What would happen if we tried to do something? You know, we talked a little bit about this being sort of like our New Year's resolution: eat, pray, love. Let's like better ourselves. Kind of like I'm going to do what I'm worst at kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all worship the same deity, right?
Yes. Yeah. So like I think that kind of links us right there. You're the only one that has like the real like cult background. I don't know if it is has anything to do with Geed.
I don't think it does.
Okay. Okay.
I want to say it's like the opposite of Geed is this cult, but I just couldn't tell.
You couldn't?
Like, because you have no wisdom.
I bought into
the wisdom to know the difference. Self-help. I have none.
Yes, I have not. I do not have that. Yeah.
Like, no, that sounds nice. A group of people gathering and you know, going through these rituals. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
It's nice when people get together for a common goal.
Yeah, I like to bond with my fellow you know, sure, there's a lot more robes than I anticipated, but
you know what? I've been trying to make new friends. A dress code. You gotta,
you gotta make new friends somehow. It's really hard to do that.
It's hard these days.
Yeah, meeting people is just not easy. It's so funny to imagine.
What self-improvement were you hoping to gain? I need to know, like, what is the self-help that you were like?
I was trying to get more that more reading people like doing well in group situations and stuff like that.
So like really trying to like improve that charisma.
Yeah. Because, you know, it was a lot of like, I don't really understand what most of these people are doing. And this group seems to like understand what everybody's doing in the group.
This is like a how to make friends and influence people kind of like seminar TED Talk situation.
Oh, yeah, you went to a seminar and it was a cult.
I went to a seminar. The person that ran the seminar was very charming. And I was immediately
like, I'll buy the tapes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, this can only improve my life.
Yes. I love it. That's such a good explanation for why you're a cultist.
Yes. But we also discussed that you were so phenomenally bad that they asked you to leave.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I think I just didn't know the right things to say or do. And so like I was constantly
part of my brain
bumbling.
That's like, is this like a multi-level marketing thing? But you were like straight up telling people that it was. You were like, I can convince everybody if I let them know that like, hey, come join my multi-level marketing.
You're not supposed to tell that part.
You're not to like tell the secrets part. Yeah. So, you're like saying the quiet part out loud.
It's an MLM that's supposed to sell stuff, and they self-subscribe within the group that it's for sure a scam, but it's a great way to make money. But then I tell everybody that.
It's a scam.
But you can also get in on our scam. It's a scam, but like you can get in on it.
You can get in on it. There's like 3 people above me. And like if I get 3 people below me, I can totally make a lot of money off of this, but I also make a lot of friends. And that's what I really want.
I love it. It's so innocent. You're like, that's okay. It's kind of evil, but if I just tell people it's evil, I mean, they're informed.
It's not evil if you tell people. If you're upfront and honest about it, that's not evil.
Yeah, then they know. Yeah.
Then they know.
So funny.
They did not like that, though.
They're not into that?
I can imagine Brenna in the confessional just being like, they keep telling me, you know, I gotta, defend myself better. So that's why I have 2 shields now. You know?
Oh, no. And maybe you're like just slightly useful enough. They didn't want to totally kick you out, but now they're sending you on like absurd, impossible quests just to like get you away for a while. Yeah.
You can earn ultimate supreme mega gold level if.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can.
So I'm doing all of the like gopher work basically.
Yes. I love it.
It's so
my gosh.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So how did we all get entangled?
Well, I don't have great wisdom either. Or intelligence really.
Do any of us have good wisdom?
I might. Let me look.
I'm at a -1.
I have 12 wisdom, so I have a +1 wisdom.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I like to think that I've been recruited to this. That like I mean, but like I'm fully in it for what you're selling. Not like I haven't been to like any like full cult meetings or anything. Like I'm fully on board with like whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because I'm like, you know what? I'm broke. I could use the money.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it's working. Maybe I like you both enough that I feel bad, so I joined it just to like make sure that you're not getting yourselves in too much trouble.
Yeah.
Do we know each other from like?
Is your goal to convince us that this is a cult?
Yes, I'm to prove it. Be like, see, it's a cult, and you're like, no, we don't see it. We don't see it.
No, it's not.
But like, look how much money we're making.
Yeah.
Like, but how much money are you spending buying the tapes? Yeah, but like you got to spend money to make money. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that. Yeah.
It'll all come out in the end.
Yeah. That's why we have to go adventuring, because I ran out of money and now I need to get more money to spend money to make more money.
Well, right. Yeah.
Yes,
we got to get money to buy the tapes. Yeah.
Right.
I got to invest. How am I supposed to know what to do if I don't get the scrolls, right?
Right. It's what's that called? The grind life, where you're like just work all the hustler life.
Yeah. If we get to level 5 within the organization, then they take us to the secret room that tells us, exactly what we're missing out on. We just have to get there.
Yeah.
You know, it'll take a few thousand gold, but, you know, I think it's worth it in the long run.
Right. But like, obviously, once we get there, we'll be the ones making that gold back, you know?
Yes.
So
return on investments, that's when they happen.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just tell 3 friends and then you tell 3 friends, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Will be no problem.
So
I say with a -2 for my charisma.
Yes.
I'm like fully in. I'm like ready. I'm like, yes, because I got to get out of the army. Like this, you know, like I'm full in and I can't sell it to anybody.
No.
Yeah.
Like no one is buying what I'm selling.
None of us are good at selling. None of us. And we're only slightly wise enough to know that like, well, I think my character is slightly wise enough to be like, there's something really fishy about this. But my intelligence is 6, so I can't figure out what.
You have the intuition.
Like, feel right, but I don't. You know.
Maybe I just need to stay.
The math works out, I guess, but
yeah, exactly. It is profitable.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's clear like that it would make money. It's just I don't understand. Like I'm not making the money. Like I don't understand where it's going. Yeah.
I think a few trips to the Shadowdark will get us what we need to make it to the next level within the organization, and then I think we'll be able to understand the math better.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is our motive. Yep. I love this.
I mean, that's the thing is that like we just haven't seen, you know, like the full business reports because we're not at business level yet. We have to get to business level, and we're not.
Yes.
We're
you got to earn the trust. Level. They don't just let anybody do it. Right. You have to prove yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is too funny.
We have just made Shadowdark MLMs, and I don't know if that's ever like what you envisioned for this game, but you're welcome.
I want this very much for Shadowdark.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. Yep.
I do like that I can basically get put on the front lines in combat and be okay enough for a while.
Yeah. I'm okay as long as I stand behind you.
I think that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're on my shoulders.
Oh yeah.
Which makes us the height of a regular person then.
That would be amazing.
You like pop up and shoot and then back down again, and
because I'm picturing 2 kite shields.
Okay.
For my character.
Yeah.
Like not bucklers or not tower shields, but 2 kite shields are as big as me.
Yeah. We just stand in a hallway.
So it's like shoot, jump back down. Oops, sorry. Like shoot, jump back down to reload behind your shields, hop back up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just blocking them. They can't get past you because you're blocking the hallway with your shields. And then we're just popping up. I'm trying to cast a spell, but accidentally like singeing the back of your head with a miscast every time because I'm so bad at being a wizard.
Yeah, like I think like definitely like both of us have like permanent bald spots on the back of our heads. Like,
burn marks from my bad magic missile castings. And
I am counting the days that we can get better armor so I can afford a helmet.
Oh, yes.
Once I get that helmet, watch out.
Yeah. Yeah. I have fainted at the sight of blood, so.
Yeah.
we gotta stop.
That's
the
why
blood,
whenever you shoot, I move the shields up a bit more, so you don't have to.
I don't have to see
the result.
Right.
Yeah. You don't have to look. Just aim and then close your eyes. You know.
Yeah. There's somebody standing behind me. You need to at least open your eyes while you're shooting.
Yeah.
No, it's so gross. I don't like the sound it makes.
I really do like, because you're very dexterous, right?
Yeah.
So I picture Brenna being very stocky and like solid, so you're able to like just climb all over me,
like step ladder up you and then back down again.
Yeah, it's like doing like tiny parkour up to the top of you.
Yeah.
It's like a goat going up a mountain face. Like there's just footholds. Like
Yep.
It's like Rocket Raccoon and Groot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Except that you are also a dwarf. So it's not that high up. That's why I said I was like, what? Like the 2 of us on top of each other are like regular human size at this point.
Yeah.
Like
the height achievement is not impressive, but you know, it does what it does.
But you're much more nimble, so that's what makes up for it.
But
right?
it's important to like, you know, when you have to make eye contact with people, I'll stand, you know. Part of our sales pitch is me standing on top of you to try
in a trench coat.
Eye contact.
Yeah, the trench coat maneuver. Yeah,
You're the face person.
I am the face with my negative
so you just sit on my shoulders. We put a trench coat over you, and it's just like this big blocky bottom.
It's like an A-shaped
skinny goblin top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Good visual.
That's our
really
undercover.
wide knees. It's fine.
I know.
Really wide knees.
I'm like, I don't even think hips are at the right height. That would be like, yeah, knees, right?
It's just like where his shoulders are is like,
yeah.
Just like a block.
Absolutely has the Muppets written.
It
really does. It has that energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and like purely by the accident of our roles, like this.
We've gotten a Muppets
like, there's
crew.
no way for this to be anything but comedic, just given how things turned out. You know, like the moment you rolled to be a spellcaster with no wisdom, it was over.
Yep.
Like this game was decided. Like, okay, well, I guess that's that.
We are a comedy troupe because that can the only explanation for why we're doing this. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we don't use that comedic value. Like we wouldn't be a good comedy troupe because we still don't have any charisma.
Yeah.
I'm like, could we switch to comedy? No, we could not.
We don't know that we're funny. Only outside observers know this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're not in
absolutely.
on the joke. Yeah. Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Definitely a lot of slapstick humor going on there.
Mm-hmm. But we take it all very seriously.
Oh, yeah.
It's so serious.
We got to work our way up.
To
We
us,
gotta be.
Yeah.
We can't work our way up if we keep getting knocked down.
No. No, and we need super mega gold platinum plus status.
Exactly.
Yes. 10th level.
MMLM. Amazing. Oh, I love these amazing people.
Beautiful. Perfection.
So good.
10 out of 10.
Oh,
I feel like we just played D&D a little bit.
right?
We just played Shadowdark just now. We were like in character.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Uh-huh. Well, let's wrap things up and get into our advancement discussion and take it up a level.
Take it up a level. Take it up a level.
In this segment, we cover character advancement and growth in the system. So first, how do characters advance and what happens mechanically when that happens?
Yes. So
we've touched on it a little bit, but yeah.
True. It's come up that, characters advance and get minor increases to their survivability. So increase hit points. And advancement works by accruing experience points, which are tied to the treasure, the value of the treasure that you find. And one thing I'll just note about that I think is very old school is that it doesn't matter how you got the treasure. And that's an important point to emphasize. Shadowdark is not a game about going and having combats all the time. It's really a game about how can you get treasure, by stealth, trickery, negotiation, or combat, or something else. So it encourages creativity on that front, as long as you get the gold out of the dungeon. And when you gain a level, you will always be gaining hit points. The core 4 classes in the book have minor advancements on even levels. Like you'll have a bonus that goes up by a point, for instance, or you'll get a new spell if you're a spellcaster. And then on odd levels, you will also get a random talent roll on the talent table that your class has, which is the random advancement portion of Shadowdark. And it confers a themed bonus, but one that you can't really predict is coming. So it kind of helps alleviate the idea of needing to min-max build and plan out builds for your characters, because you can't. And that actually removes a lot of pressure from the players to try to play in an optimized way and to just kind of let their characters develop into a unique iteration of a fighter that, isn't going to be like the other fighter at the table. And then what's also implied with this is that, gaining levels is not the only progression in the game. The treasure that you get is also, in a lot of ways, helping make your character more survivable, whether that's magic items or even boons, like getting things of value, including like secrets or blessings, can give you experience points in Shadowdark. So The idea is that you're merging treasure and incremental gains that your character is getting into a sort of whole upward trajectory into being more powerful.
Yeah. I do find it interesting that multiple times it's kind of come up that it's like hard for you to like plan ahead on your character. Like, how important was it to you that like people couldn't do that? That you couldn't really min-max?
It was crucial to me because I think the min-maxing mentality creates two negative outcomes, which is the need for some people, the need that some people feel to, at the cost of fun, to try to maximize effectiveness. And so like a lot of times, like players, there's this effect where players will engage in something that isn't fun if it will improve their character's survivability. And this is why we get things like XP grinding. That is a perfect example of that. It's actually not fun to XP grind, but people want to do it because they want to gain levels. So I was looking for ways to remove that sort of forced grind mentality while also ensuring that different fighters are different from each other. Like it's very statistically likely that they will not be identical in their progression. They're going to have...
Yeah, that you could sit down and play a fighter every time and not have the same character.
Exactly. You're not always going to be just making the same choices because you want to be a sword fighter who has the optimized sword fighting path. Like, yes, you can be a good sword fighter, but you're going to have different strengths than the fighter next to you who is also a sword fighter. And both of those things were solved by randomness in progression. Not everything is totally random, but enough is that you can't predict how your character is going to come out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I think there are definitely points too, where like you could roll and we were like, yeah, let's roll. But it, like we could have picked a class. Like we could have said,
typically you would.
Point, like I want to be a wizard. Like, okay.
Yes.
Obviously, like when given the choice to roll, Ryan and I will roll, especially on this show when there are no consequences. We don't have to follow through with any of the choices that we've made. But yeah, you could sit down. I do think it's interesting though that you could sit down and you could say like, I'm going to play a goblin fighter, and I could sit down and play a goblin fighter every time, and it wouldn't look the same.
Yeah. That was the goal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And with a game with as simple of level up mechanics as this, it doesn't feel like there is it doesn't follow the narrative of what you're leveling up into, because it's effectively these minor boons every now and then.
Right. Yeah. So you don't run into my cave diving shipbuilding concern, which is...
I've learned sailing after spelunking.
Yeah, that's what, it was like when you can just pick any skill and it's like, or it tells you what skill you get and it's like, you get sailing, and it's like, but our entire adventure was cave diving. I don't understand. Why do I know sailing now? That makes no sense.
Yes.
It solves that problem of like where it's like stat increases, or, like you can carry more stuff, or, like rather than like, oh, you learned the skill that has nothing to do with what you were doing and makes no sense for you to have now.
Right.
That's a thing. You're so right about that. Yeah. It's very flexible in its interpretation because it's tied basically to your stats. So
and I like that it doesn't force you to plan things out too, because there is, we talked to Grant and Chris at Rowan, Rook and Deckard. One thing that they always talk about is no dead levels. That like there is sort of the impetus sometimes to be like, well, if I don't take this at level 4, I can't take it again until I'm level 36. Or, what is it? The like Genesis and like Fantasy Flight Star Wars and stuff. It's like you basically have to spend all your points in character creation increasing your stats because you don't get to touch those again for the rest of the time, and so that feeling of like, there's no impetus, like I have to take this now or I'll never get it again,
right.
Which
you'll be somehow
alleviates a lot of anxiety sometimes.
That's the thing. I always like, I don't want people to feel pressured to have to make their character a certain way, because you can't. So like there is no pressure. You didn't choose wrong. That's the hope for that style of system.
Yeah. Yeah, because I do feel like there's nothing bigger of a letdown. Like, okay, like I finally leveled up and it's like, oh, I get +1 to this roll and that's it for the rest of the level. But if I don't take it here, I won't be able to get what I want later.
Right.
And that's just, I don't know. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I do like the randomness on level up too, because like it does give you that feeling of like kind of like the whole it's almost a gamble of what you're going to get, right? Because it could be just it's always something small, But like when you roll those big numbers, you're like, ooh, now it's something really good.
Yeah. But I think even getting to roll on it has that feeling of like opening a loot box or something where it's like, I don't know what I'm going to get. It could not be very helpful, but just the idea that I get to do it, that little bit of gambling like tickles your brain too. Of like, ooh, I get to do the thing. I get to, you know, pull the lever or whatever.
That's very insightful because that was absolutely a factor too. Like it's, you know, I know what it's like to grow up cracking Pokemon card packs hoping for the Charizard.
Yes.
Like that's very fun. It's actually very fun to do that. And I wanted to incorporate that feeling too.
My son has an app where that's like all it does is like open Pokemon cards. He gets to open like 1 or 2 packs a day. Like they don't, I think they finally like 2 years into having this app, like you can trade now. Like it was literally just opening packs of Pokemon cards.
What the heck? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's time for my pack today. And I was like, there is something that tickles your brain that you're like, this is useless, but I love it.
Right. It's like, so true. It has to be acknowledged.
Not that, you know, the things that you get for leveling up are useless, but there is something to be said just for the fun of like, ooh, I get to roll something.
Yeah, I want to see what's going to happen. That's very enticing to the human limbic system. So yeah,
absolutely. Oh, it's so good. I think that's everything.
It feels like everything.
Are we ready to wrap it up?
Do you have anything else that you want people to know?
We've covered so much that I am just so grateful of the insights that you had and the questions that you asked me. I think you guys you had just wonderful questions, and it was such a delight to get to talk about some of these things. Yeah.
I'm glad. I was like worried sometimes when we have people on. I'm like, have you answered this question 85,000 times already? That you're like, yes, this is how you do it. This is like,
no. I've never gotten to do something like this. This was so fun.
Good, and I'm glad.
I'm so impressed by your observations about the game and the way it works, even having just made these characters this one time with me. Like you noticed a lot of things about it.
It is surprising. Like I don't think I realized it even when we started the show, like how much you learn just doing the character creation, like how much you can tell about, you know, like obviously this is a game that I've, you know, read and interacted with before, but we'll have sometimes that it's like, I've never touched this before. And I'm still like, so does this mean this? And they're like, how did you know that?
Yeah, very insightful.
It means your game works. It means it does what it's supposed to.
Yeah. I mean, we're coming off of 2 series of like solo or duo play. Did I see that there's a solo version on your site?
There is. It's a free PDF, and it's you know, it's something that I made as originally sort of a part of a stretch goal from the Kickstarter. I did a little solo gameplay YouTube show with Shadowdark. And in creating that show, realized I needed to create custom solo rules for Shadowdark because I am too much a game designer at heart and just couldn't. I wanted to make it custom, you know.
You're like, well, I'm here. I might as well write rules for it.
Yeah, like I tried using other things, and I was like, it's not quite right. I just need to make a Shadowdark specific version. So yes, it's very, very simple. It's a super simple Oracle system and prompts tables, and it gives some advice about how to use the real-time elements of Shadowdark when you're playing solo, which is different. And that's why it's a free document. I think it's just a neat little add-on that gives you, it's meant to work with the core rules. It's not meant to stand on its own. Like you need the core rules to be able to use solo dark. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I just thought that was a really cool find when I was looking into the game.
Oh, good.
And I thought that was because I just did 6 solo games for the show
by yourself.
Ooh.
Yeah, for the show, and like that was my first examination of solo RPG play.
Oh yeah,
and like seeing the similarities of the Oracle systems across all these different games and how it handles story generation is just fascinating to me.
Yeah,
so it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, good.
Kelsey, thank you so much for joining us to talk about Shadowdark. This was truly a delight.
This was so much fun.
I had a blast. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
This was great. I'm glad we finally got to talk about this one because, it was on my list. I'm so excited about it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Can you remind everyone where they can find you online and the sorts of things you're working on?
Yes. My website is thearcanelibrary.com, and that's where you can find all my Shadowdark work and some 5e work I've done. And I'm currently working on, and it might even be actively kickstarting when this show comes out, an official setting for Shadowdark RPG that's really my personal game world that I've been running for at least the last 10 years. And it's built up naturally over time through gameplay, and I'm publishing it.
All right.
It's called The Western Reaches. I should have said
if it's
that.
out, we'll have it in the show notes for people to look at. Yeah.
Cool.
This will be airing every Monday in March. So
it'll be live in March. March 11th is its go live. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
there you go.
Definitely
that's actually cool.
This one.
That lines up really well.
Good.
Yeah.
Good timing, so we can.
It's almost like we planned that months ago.
Yeah.
Honestly, we might have in hindsight. I don't know, but yeah.
Who knows what any of us were doing months ago?
I don't know. I mean, this could come out in April, and then I wouldn't know.
Congratulations, past self.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll put links to all of it in the show notes and everything for people to find. Because that's exciting. That's fun to have more.
Thank you. I'm so happy about it. It's been one of the most fun things I've worked on.
That's so cool. Well, thank you again for sitting down with us, and thank you to everyone for tuning in. We'll be back in a week.
Call to action.
Yeah, like that.
Well, thank you, everybody, for your patience with the release schedule for this series. Some real-life personal stuff came up in my department, and I was not able to get to things always in a timely manner, but I am glad that we have the series out there. This is such a good game. I checked out the Kickstarter for the setting books, and there's some really sweet, tempting options for special editions of Shadowdark and Kickstarter exclusive editions and special editions and all sorts of goodies. Slipcases for like the books with like gold filigree. I don't know. There's like a lot of like good tactile stuff that's going to be coming out of this Kickstarter, which is probably why it's great. I mean, I'm going to be honest. This game kind of took a hold of both myself and Amelia, because we just fell in love with the simplicity of the OSR sort of style of play presented here in Shadowdark, and I thought it was really cool. Kelsey was a fantastic guest. Really loved having her on the show, and would have her back in a heartbeat for anything in the future. So really glad how this series panned out. But before we let you go for the day, we do have some calls to action. First up is the aforementioned Kickstarter for Shadowdark's official campaign setting called The Western Reaches. For just the next week, you can get in on this campaign by going to the link in our show notes. They are sitting at just over $1.9 million out of a $10,000 goal. And they smashed through all previous stretch goals and are now working towards a $2 million stretch goal for a super special edition cover. And I think the last time I looked, they were 3 backers away from 10,000 backers, which is amazing. It is an impressive campaign with some really great collectible rewards, so it is worth checking out if you haven't yet. Speaking of checking things out, if you haven't yet, have you gone to see our Patreon or Discord yet? We would love to do more for the community and for the show itself, but in order to do that, we need either time or money. And since we rarely have time nowadays, a bit of assistance here with some monthly pledges will go an absolutely long way. I would love to bring someone on, maybe even one of our listeners, to help us out with updating our website every month. This would be a paid position. I would love to pay this person for the couple of hours or so that it takes, but we need to get a few more patrons to get to that point. I think $160 a month will get us there. And then if we get to $200 a month, we'll be able to double that amount of effort and let them kind of go wild on the backlog of stuff that needs to get up on our site. All the games that we've covered, we want to have links to supplemental materials. And we want it to be kind of like the one-stop shop for the games that we cover. So you can kind of go there and get to everywhere on the internet that you need to buy the game, to get character sheets, all that sort of stuff. It would be really fun to have that resource at hand. and we just do not have the time to take care of it ourselves. So hiring somebody is the next best thing that we can think of. But again, that takes money, and your help will help get us there. To help sweeten the deal, we have over 20 stickers that we will be able to send to you at the $10 level. And we also have some custom C3 dice, as well as personalized thank you cards and bonus episodes at the $5 and up level. And we have our bonus chit chat episodes and character sheets from the episodes, as well as a bunch more at the $1 and up level. And we even have our bonus outtakes and other periodic information for our free patrons, including a potential future newsletter if we ever get around to that. So you can check all of this out at patreon.com/charactercreationcast, or you could also just join our discussion and find the latest show announcements on our Discord at discord.charactercreationcast.com. In addition to all of that, we'd like to thank our current patrons every episode. Your support truly helps out a great deal, so let's do that right now. DJG, aka Tigranosaurus, Eric Bonds, and Daryl Holiday II, thanks for believing in us. Thanks to Shadim Cabal, the Shyest Barbarian, and Benjamin Sweeney, so glad to have you backing us. Rob Fletcher, Kevin Brown, and Tentacle Duck, we can't thank you enough, but we'll keep trying anyway. John Adamus, A3 Sketchpad, and Cole McCallum, many thanks to you. Carlos Salazar, Eric S., and Ian Potmeyer, we're happy to have you here with us. Thank you. We appreciate your support, Liam G., Brian Colm, and Garden GM. Thank you. Tanglefoot, Blue Kryptonite, and Danny, thank you all so much. Nicole Trainer, Liam Murray, and Kenning, you're the best. Thank you. Brian Kurtz, Mark E. Fair, and Drew Owen, thank you for your support. Oz, James McGinley, and Sean Metcalf, thank you so much. And finally, Robert, thank you so much for your continued support. And thank you to all of our future patrons. If you want to join this phenomenal group of individuals, please head on over to patreon.com/charactercreationcast and help us out. We are getting very close to covering our operating expenses every month, and with more assistance, like I mentioned before, we'll be able to make those website upgrades to make exploring your favorite games that much easier, including links to resources for the games and more. That's all we have for today's episode and for this series. Next week, a brand new series comes right at you. It is going to be, drumroll, Salvage Union. We are pleased to bring Led and Panny, both the designers for Salvage Union, into the studio with us, and it is going to be a fantastic time. So stay tuned for that. Until then, take care, everyone. Stay safe, drink some water, and keep making those amazing people. We'll see you next time. Character Creation Cast is a production of the One Shot Podcast Network and can be found online at www.charactercreationcast.com. Head to the website to get more information on our hosts, this show, and even our press kit. Character Creation Cast can also be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at CreationCast, or on our Discord server at discord.charactercreationcast.com. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Bolter, and I can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at Lord Neptune or online at lordneptune.com. Our other host, Amelia Antrim, can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at Ginger Reckoning. Music for this episode is used with a Creative Commons license or with permission from the podcast they originated from. Further information can be found within the show notes. Our main theme music is Hero Remix by Steve Combs and is used with a Creative Commons license. This podcast is owned by us under Creative Commons. This episode was edited by Ryan Bolter. Further information for the game systems used and today's guests can also be found in the show notes. If you'd like to support our show, find us on Patreon. Get access to bonus episodes, exclusive merch, and much more at patreon.com/charactercreationcast. Thanks for joining us. And remember, we find that the best part of any role-playing game is character creation. So go out there and create some amazing people. We'll see you next time.